The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, this is for sure the Rated R Safety Show coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. And today is October the 2nd, day 275 of the year, only 90 days remaining. Oh, yes. Before I say it one more time, 2020. I don't know why I'm so hung up about the 2020 thing. But anyways, I keep on looking at it and going, it's going to be a fun time. Just depending if you allow it to be. Anyways, have you been able to accomplish what you want to accomplish this year so far? A lot of people put a lot of validity into those things. And if you have not accomplished what you wanted to accomplish, we can put you on the 90-day program. Oh, yeah. That means we have 90 days from today to move forward. Anyways, I wish you could envision what I am getting to see here, because it's pretty fantastic. Right now, I am right next to the Raiders Stadium that's being built out. So it's pretty interesting, the view that I have of the construction site, but I don't want to bore you too much with that. But I will tell you, the Las Vegas experience to this point has been pretty interesting. And seeing some of the people that are out and about, well, that could be fun depending on what you're looking to do. So keep that in mind the next time that you're in Vegas.
Duh.
Anywho, I'm not going to get you too bored with what's going on and let you get you started directly with the news.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Well. I don't know if you heard of this news story, but we're going to tell you about it. This way you can know exactly what I'm talking about here. This is probably one of the crappiest stories I've read in a while. With the finish line only 50 kilometers away in the sight of the racer, competitor Thomas Stanley was struck by lightning and killed. The race was in Elk State Park in southeast Kansas. He was only 33. I don't know. I guess when it's just your time to go, it's your time to go. But man, is that a crappy way to go. I look at it and go, you're that far away and that close at the same time from the finish line, doing apparently something that you love to do, because if you're doing any kind of race, you definitely have to train to do it. But then you turn around and get struck by lightning 50 kilometers away from the finish line. What the Anyways, let's continue down the path here. Did you hear the story coming out of Texas? Amber Geyer, and I'm always going to screw up her last name, has been found guilty of murder after killing a neighbor in his own apartment. This is a screwed up story. Amber was a Dallas police officer when it happened. Her defense was that she thought that she was in her own apartment and confronted an intruder. The jury disagreed. She now faces 5 to 99 years in prison. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this news story, but this happened a little bit a while ago, and what had taken place was this particular person went into an apartment thinking that it was her own and turned around and shot and killed an intruder, allegedly at the time. And voila, come to find out, she was in the wrong apartment. It's a terrible story. But also at the same time, now she's being held accountable for what she did. How do you feel about that one? I kind of have some mixed feelings. I don't know. It's a very, very, very interesting plot twist. I wonder if there's more to the behind-the-scenes stuff, but who's going to go there? Anyways, we talked about Hong Kong week over week. For several weeks, it felt like. But let me give you another Hong Kong story. Hong Kong police has started using deadly force against freedom protesters. An 18-year-old was hit with a live bullet. Oh, yes, you heard me, with a live bullet, not the rubber rounds that they had been using previously. He was hit in the shoulder and is conscious when he was taken to the hospital. This is according to a New York Times report. So that's crazy. They're now using live rounds because of these protesters. And I know that there was a news story recently also talking about that they had been using blue water to spray on these people in regards to be able to determine who they were, who the protesters were.
Duh.
So I don't know. I keep on looking at it and go, this is just crazier and crazier and crazier. Anyways, let's continue down the path. The Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA to you, has given UPS the go-ahead to deploy a drone delivery system, its first program of its given federal approval. So this is the first time the FAA has given approval to any program to do this. The Part 135 certification permits UPS to fly drones that carry loads exceeding 55 pounds. Think about that real quick. To fly drones at night, to fly drones, the devices out of sight of operators. This is according to Gizmodo. Now think about that. This is 55 pounds we're talking about. Margin of error. I would love to see what kind of safeguards they actually have in place for those, because it's going to be interesting. Very, very, very interesting. And I would definitely hate for one of those shitty loads to all of a sudden land on me.
Duh.
Could you imagine what kind of damage that could occur? And I'm not trying to think of only worst case scenario here. I'm trying to figure out, hey, what could actually occur? Because you'll have to look at it and go, 55 pounds is a significant hit, especially if it ends up happening to you. Let's continue. Tesla is expected to announce how many car deliveries it completed in the third quarter of the year, either today or tomorrow. In the Q2, it has shipped a record 95,356 vehicles, and this is crawling towards profitability. Some analysts believe that it will announce that more than about 100,000 cars will be shipped in quarter 3. So I don't know. The popularity of Tesla keeps on going up and up and up. And I only mention Tesla in these news stories because we like to talk about technology. And their technology is quite fantastic on what they have going on. I also look at it and go, wow, they have definitely moved forward. Now let's turn on the creepometer for the next story. I read this one yesterday, and I was like, I could not wait to get back to the Rated R Safety Show to talk about this. A creepy Yahoo engineer has been convicted of breaking into user accounts belonging to young women trying to get his hands on pornographic images. Or, on this one, nude pictures, however you want to look at it. He was first indicted in April. He faces up to 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Now, I'm going to tell you the other news story that I read about this referenced that he had already admitted that he had been into over 6,000. That's 6,000 accounts.
Duh.
Now, that is crazy. I want you to think about that. That means that this guy spent time at work, on the clock, whatever you want to say, and he was looking for images of self-nudes of women breaking into these things. Now, I'm not saying the dude has a porn issue, but shit, dude, that is crazy.
Duh.
Because I keep on looking at it and I go, there are websites that are available if you have those kind of issues that you want to look at stuff. I'm not saying that you should go out there and look at it. I'm not even saying you should go dig. But man, 6,000 accounts. Is it really worth 5 years in prison and $250,000 in fine? I hope that you, as an engineer, you were making all kinds of good money, because it's going to probably take a while to pay that off. Anyways, let's continue. A federal court has ruled that the FCC, or the Federal Communication Commission, however you want to word it, can maintain its net neutrality repeal, the rule that previously prevented internet service providers from throttling bandwidth based on content being consumed online. But the court added that states could employ their own neutrality rules, and the FCC can't do anything about it. Well, I know when the net neutrality thing was becoming a big thing, that they were trying to repeal it, a lot of people are pissed off about it, because, of course, that turns around and makes it seem like the more money you have, the more control you're going to have over the whole thing. So you have to look at it and go, is this a good thing and is that a bad thing? And what kind of state do you live in that they're going to allow you to, still be within the confines of net neutrality, or are you going to be in a state where it's repealed? How important is this to you? I mean, to me, as an indie broadcaster, we'll call it an indie broadcaster. Some people might disagree, but whatever. You have to look at it and go, if they throttle people going to my site, that could be an issue. And of course, Safety FM always tries to put out the best safety shows, even though there's tons of them available. But I look at it and I go, that could be an issue with others in competition. Let me not bore you too much. As you can see, pretty passionate about that shit.
Duh.
Anyways, health officials in New Jersey have confirmed that vaping directly caused the death of a woman in August. Nationally, there are 800 cases of severe lung damage caused by vaping that are under review. Now, I thought for the longest time, they kept on saying that this was a healthier alternative to smoking. Well, it's not starting to sound that way. A death? I mean, I'm sure there's more deaths, allegedly, under the cigarettes caused by cancer, so on, allegedly.
Duh.
But let's talk about that. So the vaping is a better alternative. How is that working out? Now, my question becomes this, and this may have to be answered by somebody from the audience that might be a little bit more familiar with the marijuana or Mary Jane scenario, and be able to tell me, how does it work? If you're using the vape for marijuana, does it have the same impact that it would with cigarettes? Now, that is my naivety in regards of that particular segment, because I don't understand. Because it's vaping and vaping. I mean, it's all vape. So how does it work? Because I have to imagine that they're cutting those vapes with something in particular as they're actually putting it into these cartridges. I don't know. What do you think? I want you to think about that one. Come to safetyfm.com or the ratedarsafetyshow.com and give us some information on what you think. I'm always still, by the way, talking about the Rated R Safety Show. I'm always looking for somebody to come on and rant. Always looking for more ranters. I'm still getting quite a few people sending me information to read, but it's not as exciting as you doing it. And the other part is, you see what happens with some of the rants that are recorded. Nothing against ranters. I love them. But we were having one when it was all said and done. A lady talking about her suitcase yesterday. And I knew she was coming back from a conference, and that's perfectly fine. Safety conferences are important. But she was talking about her suitcase. You did get that, right? It was a suitcase. I also thought the filter was terrible. And I won't say her name, but I appreciate you sending it in still.
Duh.
Anyways, Philadelphia has made it illegal to be a cashless store, the first major metropolitan area to pass such a law. Advocates say not allowing cold, hard cash discriminates against very poor people who don't have a debit card or a credit card or even a smartphone app. Now, cashless stores, I find it interesting because if I go to a physical location and I'm walking in and I'm taking a look and I'm walking around and we're going through the whole thing, and I'm able to physically touch the product inside of your store, I should be able to pay with cash. Now, I can understand that when I'm doing the shit online, I can't do that. Because guess what? It's online. Duh. And that was my duh, just in case. I didn't forget where the button was.
Duh.
But isn't that weird? Cashless store. Do you think that this will be something that a lot of metropolitan areas will start picking up? Also, how do you feel? Yes, you feel about going into store locations. Let's say, for instance, a grocery store, and you have to ring out your own product. What do you think about that? What is your general feeling? If you go to a store and they have the cashier there available, or they have the availability of you ringing out yourself, which one do you do? Do you do it yourself? Or do you go ahead and have a cashier ring you out? There's kind of a weird thing. I mean, I understand that people want to do things quickly, and they figure out that if they actually ring themselves out, they could actually go out there, get it done, and leave. But I also look at it and go, you're taking away from the people that are that's their job. I don't know. I think a lot of this controversy started back when McDonald's employees were asking for $15 an hour. Hey, money's money, so I entirely understand. But you have to look at those things as we speak.
Duh.
Anyways, don't know why I went off on that tangent. Or should I say rant? Because I felt like I was ranting for a moment. Anyways, let's get to some of my favorite parts of the show. And this is the days of the year that you can celebrate. So let's take it from the top. Balloon Around the World Day. Guardian Angels Day. International Day of Nonviolence. Shouldn't that be a day that's celebrated every day? We shouldn't have violence, period.
Duh.
National Custodial Worker Day. National Kale Day. Yuck. National Fried Scallops Day. Yuck again. International Walk to School Day. National Pumpkin Seed Day. National Research Maniacs Food Day. National Name Your Car Day. World Day of Farmed Animals. That could take a totally different twist. World of No Alcohol Day. Well, I'm sure that's not going to happen here in Vegas.
Duh.
Random Acts of Poetry Day. And that pretty much concludes the list. Some pretty interesting ones. I know that some of them will not be celebrated around the world. And I will always look at it and I go, is this something that is celebrated in every country? Because I look at some of these and I go, I've never even heard of this. Anyways, when you get a chance, if you haven't done so already, please share our show with the people that you know and love and let them be tortured by me, my friends. I also ask you to give us a review on your favorite podcatcher. We're always wanting to know where you want to go with this. Like I told you from the very beginning, if you go back to the very few front episodes, we talked about it back then. This is your show. And I want to do what you want me to do within reason.
Duh.
And I only say that because you asked for the Rated R Safety Show. You wanted something that you could speak your mind. You wanted something that was real. You wanted something that was different than, let's sit behind the microphone and pretend that everything is perfect in the safety world. So I want to give you the availability of doing so. Come on to the Rated R Safety Show. You can go to our website. You can link to us directly from the Safety FM website if the Rated R Safety Show is too long to type for you. But this is the opportunity to come on and rant. I also want people to come on and host the show. I'm perfectly fine with that. I have no problem whatsoever with you hosting the Rated R Safety Show. Anyways, like I always like to say, listen, review, repeat. I don't know when I like to say that. I like to say that from time to time. Also, don't forget about this weekend. We are going to be on safetyfm.live and the Safety FM app for 48 hours straight, starting at midnight Friday night. Or is it midnight Saturday morning? However you want to look at it, but it'll be in the Eastern time zone. And we're going all 48 hours straight. I'll be dropping in and out as you can hear me live there. So come on, pass by. You get a chance to listen to all 45 episodes that will be available at that time. But also I look at it from the opportunity of being streaming directly onto the radio station, and you'll get to hear everything that you have missed so far if you are not a subscriber. Also, if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe on your favorite podcatcher. We do drop this thing live every day, noontime, noontime, Eastern time. And that is the newest episode of the Rated R Safety Show, Monday through Friday on safetyfm.live. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show. You know who I am. I know who you are. Love you. Mean it. Bye.
Duh.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
This episode has been powered by Safety FM.